Hi everyone, welcome back to Vovo Drag Tarot. I of course am Joni Vovo, a drag performer based in Sydney, Australia, in Sydney's inner west, and this is an all signs reading. So, just I guess a general reading for whoever might be watching on. I'm recording on the last day of June, so I guess this reading is just a wrap up of the month we had and maybe a sneak peek into what's coming up in the next month. I was out tonight, hosted my own show called Cryptic Cabaret over at the Duke in Enmore. It was a fun night. I'm really tired, but thought it's the last day of June and I've got like 2 more readings to do. So I just thought I'd jump on and get it done. I'm dressed a little scandalously. Couldn't be bothered getting changed, so I just threw a coat on and it's fine. It is what it is. Just give me a moment. I'll shuffle the cards and then we'll get started. So if you've watched these videos before, you know the drill. I use the Raider White deck. I do a Celtic cross. I won't bore you with the details. But how was your month? How was June? What are you anticipating coming up in the next month? How are you feeling about it? Any expectations or hunches about what's around the corner for you? I'll be interested to see what the cards say, particularly because it's a general reading, so anyone might be watching on, not just a particular sign. So we'll see what stories emerge. And as usual, because it's a general reading, just take what resonates, and if it doesn't fit, it just simply doesn't fit, and the message is for someone else. And I say this every video, but even though we might look at what's coming up ahead in the immediate future and look at a possible outcome, you are a sovereign being, you're a divine creature having a human experience, so you have free will. So make your own decisions and just use this reading as a chance for you to have a bit more insight, perspective, clarity about your situation. All right, you ready? So let's look at the current situation. And we've got, the Page of Swords upside down. Okay, well, swords are all about intellect, understanding, knowledge, spoken word, and pages are the students, the apprentices, the juniors, the learners of tarot. So the Page of Swords is perhaps studying very hard, trying to learn something new, wrap their head around a new body of knowledge, a new way of thinking, a new way of seeing, or even a new way of communicating. And it was upside down. So there might be a situation where you perhaps feel a bit out of your depth. You're trying to wrap your head around something, trying to have a good understanding and comprehension, and then you're possibly trying to engage and speak into that situation, and you might be feeling like you're stumbling over your words and not feeling like you're able to clearly communicate. So this is a general reading. I don't know if this is for your career or romantic life or social life. We'll keep going and see what the cards reveal, but otherwise that's your starting point. So yeah, again, you might just feel like you can't quite understand everything within the context that you're in, and you might feel that you're struggling to communicate and struggling to put your words together. All right, so let's look at the immediate past. And we've got 2 of Pentacles. So Pentacles are all about the practical world and where you put your time and effort and then what you get out of it. And I don't just mean in a transactional way, although it kind of is. So, Pentacles can definitely be about work. You go to your job, you do the work, you get paid. So it's very much the tangible expression and return of how you move through the physical world. So 2 of Pentacles, you can see this person here is juggling those 2 Pentacles. So it's all about balance, and you might have had a lot on your plate and you're trying to keep everything in equilibrium. That's very much adult life. You're there trying to stay on top of your job, stay on top of your health, stay on top of your family commitments, your social network. So when 2 of Pentacles comes in, it is definitely about balance, but it also may be about having well, two things. It might be about discernment of where you put your time and energy, because, you know, at the end of the day, you can't do everything. So you end up having to prioritize about where you're going to invest and what is important to you. It it can also, I've lost my train of thought. What was the second thing? It'll come to me. Oh, yes. So not just about prioritizing your commitments, but it can also be about looking at the way you do things. So trying to figure out ways that are more efficient. So can you use your energy in a wiser way to still achieve all your goals, but to not stretch yourself thin or burn out? So to tie it together, the immediate past, about balance, about spinning plates, about looking at priorities. So perhaps you were quite busy through June. Perhaps there was a lot going on and you were just trying to keep it all together and keep on top of everything. Okay, let's look at what's coming up in the immediate future. And we've got the Three of Wands upside down. So Three of Wands, Two of Wands is when you're in a place where you're considering whether you'll stick with what's familiar and what you know, or if you'll venture out and try something different, or go in a new direction, or see what's beyond the horizon of what's in your world. The Three of Wands is where you've made that decision. So you've decided to venture out, and then you're kind of just in this limbo space. You're like, well, I've made the decision and I'm kind of waiting for the path to reveal itself and the way forward to open. And it was upside down, which means there's probably delays. You know, or you might still be sitting in that space where it's like, oh, I want to venture out. I want to do something new. I want to shake things up. Will I do it? And maybe you commit and then you change your mind and you're like, oh, no. I'm going to roll back to stay with what's familiar. So yeah, so it might be just hesitancy or it might be delays. And so if we tie it all together, it looks like you've been quite busy, juggling a lot of things. And then perhaps you've been in a place of indecision where you're like, all right, what are the priorities in my life? What's important to me? Where am I going to invest my time and energy? Or how am I going to make a decision or speak up? Because I need to bring things back into balance. And I'm not quite sure how to go about that. I'm not quite sure how to make that decision, or if I need to walk away from some things or put in some boundaries. I'm not quite sure how to communicate that. And then that kind of brings us to this stuck energy. It's like, well, I know some things need to change. I need to put some of the load down that I'm carrying. And if I do that, it'll open things up so I've got more capacity to try new things. But I'm not quite sure how to do it, or I'm not quite sure if I make space, what that space is going to allow for. Okay. So let's look at the cross energy, which is the lesson you might be learning or an area of growth. Okay, that kind of ties it all in. So the Six of Swords is very much about leaving one thing behind and venturing to another thing. So it's about that movement, that travel, and it is pretty clear cut. It's very much when you've made that decision to leave something behind and venture towards something different and something new. And I guess, this is the challenge. And we've had a bit of stuck energy here to begin with. Not sure how to make those decisions, not sure how to communicate and enact change, not quite sure what direction to go in or where to invest the energy. And it very much seems that the challenge is this change or movement, but perhaps, this is where the struggle is. Maybe not knowing what direction to go in or how to do it. Okay, let's look at what you're aware of about this situation. So what's sitting in the conscious mind? And we've got the Sun. That's a good card. So I suppose if we go back here, so 2s are all about balance, and you know, we had some stuck energy, so it seems that things were maybe a bit out of whack. And I suppose, how are you measuring that things aren't quite in balance? Well, the Sun is very much when everything's in alignment. Where you're putting your time and energy matches with who you are, what you're getting out of it is exactly what you value and is important to you. The Sun is just when everything's in alignment and everything just works and you're not overthinking things. You can just live and live a happy, prosperous life. So it seems, because this is what you're aware of, this change that needs to happen is because this is what's important to you. You want to bring things back into balance, back into alignment, back into meaning and success and fulfillment. That's good. All right, let's look at what you don't see about this situation. Sorry, you might hear my housemate yelling in the background. We Ubered home from the venue and realized we left heels in the car, and I think there's a bit of drama going on at the moment, trying to get the heels back from the Uber driver. Anyway, just a side story of what's going on. So what you don't see about this situation, 7 of Pentacles. Okay. So it seems that one thing to consider is where you're putting your time and energy. Is it a good investment? Is there a return? So you can see this person here, they're kind of contemplative, and they're looking at this grape vine that they've planted. And, you know, you can see here, there has been growth. That 1 pentacle that they planted in the ground, it's multiplied, and they've now got 7 to harvest. So as you're considering all the things in your life, all the things that you're juggling and balancing, when you're struggling to make a decision and figure out, well, what should stay, what should go, it seems that part of this process is going to be, well, where I'm putting my time and energy, is it something that will it have fruit? Will there be abundance? Will it grow? Will I get something out of it? And again, not in a transactional way, not in a materialistic way, but, you know, at the end of the day, if it's work, you work hard, you want to be recognized for it. You don't need to be a martyr. You're there to do a job to get paid and, you know, perhaps have career progression and that sort of thing. So it's very much, where are you investing, and is there growth and a return and value? All right, let's look at the advice. Cool. So cups are all about that emotional fulfillment. And, you know, this could be in the context of a relationship, friends and family, could be work, but, you know, there's so many facets to our life. And at the end of the day, we do want to find fulfillment in what we do. So the Page of Cups, there's the second page we've had. Like I said, the pages are learners, they're juniors, they're open-minded, they're inexperienced, but know that they have a lot to learn and they're open to it, open to making mistakes, open to trying new things, open to feedback, open to possibilities. The Page of Cups, you can see here, popping out of the top of that cup is a fish. And this represents an element of surprise or the unexpected. So in your advice, the Page of Cups is that as you're doing this assessment of your life and where you want to put your energy and where the value and return is going to be open-minded, because you might discover that the things that you thought were really important might not be the things that give you emotional fulfillment. And you might find that there might be some like random area of your life where you actually realize it has a lot of meaning and value and importance to you. So one example might be that, you know, you do your job and you're like, oh, it's really important that I progress my career, earn the big bucks, buy a home, have that sort of security. Those things aren't bad, but it might be that some completely random hobby is the thing that really lights you up and gives you so much emotional fulfillment. Or it might be that there's a person in your life that maybe you barely get to spend any time with them because you're so focused on being an adult and living and getting through the daily grind that you've completely glossed over or missed that this, you know, random part of your life, random person in your life is actually something that's really deeply important to you. So yeah, as you're doing this audit, try not to have too many fixed or preconceived ideas, because you're going to find something in there that you may not have thought was the thing that's going to, you know, spark your heart and give you that emotional fulfillment. Okay, cool. All right, let's look at the external factors. And we've got, again, Ace of Cups. So the aces are all about something new, a new beginning. Again, cups, emotional fulfillment. And if we go back to the swords here, remember I said this was about leaving something behind and going to something new. And we had this stuck energy. It's like, well, I am ready for something new. I've made the decision to leave some things behind and open myself up for new adventures, new horizons. Be open to something surprising, new, unexpected. Ace of Cups seems all the aces, the, you know, pentacle, sword, wand, cup being offered is a hand coming out of the cloud. So this represents something that is coming in, let's just say, from the universe, or maybe it's something that's fated, something external. So in this process of reassessing your life, if you are able to create space, you know, maybe cut some things out or simplify some things, if you're able to open yourself up, free your time, free your mental load, emotional load, by creating that space, something new is going to come in. And I would dare say it's something that you didn't see coming and didn't expect. And probably because you were so blinkered before. Just juggling everything, trying to get everything done. But by creating that space, you open yourself to new possibilities. New fulfilling possibilities. That's awesome. Okay. So we've looked at the advice, external factors. Let's look at hopes and fears. Another ace, 3 aces. It came in upside down, but because it's hopes and fears, I read it both ways. Because it hopes and fears. So the swords were about that light bulb moment. Cups was about something emotionally fulfilling. The wands are about a passion or something that you can manifest and create. So it seems this new opportunity is not only going to be fulfilling, but it's going to be something that you're passionate. Well, there's your hope and fear. You're wanting something that you can throw yourself fully into and be passionate about. That is a chance for you to create something new, manifest something. So that's pretty awesome. Okay, let's look at the final outcome. And again, to reiterate, you have free will, so make your own choices. So there's a possible outcome. The moon upside down. Oh, okay. So the moon is about things that are hidden. So this can be your subconscious. This can be your shadow self. This can be things in your life that you don't see clearly and you might be seeing, well, not just an illusion, but there's all the stories we tell ourselves about ourselves, about our situation, about the people around us. The moon is about looking at and investigating those stories. So one story might be, you define yourself by, I keep going back to it, but it's just, I think, the easy example here. You define yourself by your job. This is my role. This is what I do. This is what I earn. That's who I am. That's a story. So the moon is about dismantling those stories, because we're actually a lot bigger and more complicated and nuanced and multifaceted than the small stories that we tell ourselves. So it was upside down, which I think can mean two things. It can mean that we've taken those illusions and those, not false stories, but I'll just say small stories, that we've taken them and we've literally flipped them on the head. We've pulled them apart and been able to see things with a bigger perspective and more clarity. The other way I see this is perhaps as a warning. So we've had a lot here about thinking about where we invest, thinking about moving on, struggling to understand and communicate ourselves clearly, wanting to have alignment, inner alignment and outer alignment. And through doing that process and work, opening ourselves to new possibilities, new emotionally fulfilling, passionate opportunities. But it seems that through doing that, part of finding that alignment is looking at the stories we tell ourselves that are limiting and restricting us. We want this alignment, and part of that is not just changing the outer world, not just reconfiguring everything else around us, but part of that is going inward and rearranging the inner parts of ourselves. You know, our identity, the way we see ourselves, the way we express ourselves. So I don't think I've had a reading recently where I've had the sun and the moon in the same reading, but it looks like there's two parts to this reading. It's definitely about assessing the outer workings of your life, but it very much comes back to going inward and seeing what's going to ignite your passion and what's going to bring you emotional fulfillment. What have you been chasing? What stories have you been telling yourself that maybe don't necessarily align anymore? What is going to align? What do we need to discover about ourselves and dismantle and bring into the light so that we can find that true alignment inward and outward? All right, I'm going to leave it there. That was pretty good as a general reading, I must say. Anyway, that brings us to the end of June, about to start July. I'm going to do a bonus reading, I think, for Sagittarius. So each month I do an extra reading for whichever video got the most views. And this month it was Sagittarius. So I'm about to record that. I'll jump on it in a second. Otherwise, I would love to hear feedback. Leave your comments below, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and otherwise stay tuned for your signs reading coming up in July. All right, I'll see you later. Bye.